Welcome to US Coins World. What if I told you that some of the rarest and most valuable US coins might be hiding right under your nose? Today, we're uncovering incredible treasures, coins so rare, they could make you a fortune overnight. Ready to discover hidden history and cash in on some amazing finds? Let's dive in. Top 1, we'll be talking about one of the most beautiful and significant coins of recent years, the Washington quarter dollar featuring the legendary Maya Angelou from the year 2022. At first glance, you might think a coin minted so recently could never hold extraordinary value. After all, these coins entered circulation just a couple of years ago, and millions of them were produced. But hold on, because within those millions lie some incredibly rare varieties, minting errors, and uncirculated examples that can make a simple 25-cent piece worth a life-changing fortune. And yes, by the end of this video, I'll tell you exactly how much the rarest examples of this Maya Angelou quarter can be worth today, so make sure you listen carefully, because you don't want to miss this one. Let's begin with the background. The Washington quarter has been around since 1932, honoring America's first president, George Washington. But in 2022, the United States Mint launched the American Women Quarters Program, a historic series dedicated to celebrating influential women in American history. And the very first woman to be honored in this new program was none other than Maya Angelou. Now, who was Maya Angelou? She was not only a poet, but also a dancer, singer, actress, and above all, a voice for freedom, equality, and empowerment. Her works inspired generations, and her legacy continues to shine as a beacon of courage and creativity. To see her image on a U.S. coin was a monumental step forward in honoring the contributions of women in American history. The obverse of the coin, or the front side, continues to feature George Washington. But in the 2022 redesign, the portrait was based on the original model sculpted by Laura Garden Fraser back in 1931, which for decades had been overlooked in favor of John Flanagan design. So right from the start, the Maya Angelou quarter carried with it a sense of justice and recognition, not only for Angelou, but also for Fraser, a female sculptor whose design finally took center stage after nearly a century. Now let's turn to the reverse of the coin, which is where the magic happens. The design honoring Maya Angelou shows her standing tall with her arms uplifted, a bird soaring above her, and the sun shining brightly behind her. The imagery symbolizes her spirit of freedom, creativity, and her famous ability to rise above adversity, an image inspired by her celebrated autobiography I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. This isn't just a coin, it's a tribute, a work of art, and a piece of storytelling struck in metal. But what makes this coin so special for collectors? Well, we know millions were minted at both the Denver and Philadelphia mints, and additional proof and special issues came from San Francisco. Most of the coins you'll find in circulation are only worth face value, maybe a little more if they're in excellent condition. But here's the key: condition and rarity are everything in coin collecting. Coins that come straight from mint rolls, never touched by human hands, are called uncirculated. If you have a Maya Angelou quarter in pristine uncirculated condition, especially one graded MS67 or higher by a professional grading service, it can already fetch significant value. Add in a proof version with deep cameo contrast from San Francisco, and you're looking at a coin that collectors will line up to own. But the real excitement comes from error coins. And believe me, the 2022 Maya Angelou quarter has produced some fascinating errors that have sent collectors into a frenzy. Some coins were struck off-center, with the design not properly aligned. Others have die cracks, cuts, or doubling on the inscriptions and images. There are even reports of coins struck on the wrong planchet, the blank metal disc, creating ultra-rare pieces unlike anything else in circulation. Imagine holding a coin where the lettering looks doubled, or where part of Maya Angelou's arm seems distorted because of a striking error. These mistakes, while rare, make the coin instantly unique. No two error coins are exactly alike. And in the world of coin collecting, uniqueness equals value. So let's put this into perspective. You might reach into your pocket, pull out a Maya Angelou quarter, and think it's worth only 25 cents. But if that coin is in flawless condition or has a rare error, it can be worth thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars. And yes, in the rarest cases, one of these quarters has reached an unbelievable price at auction. So, how much could the most valuable Maya Angelou 2022 quarter dollar be worth today? The answer is an astonishing $85,000. That's right, $85,000 for a single quarter. Imagine turning pocket change into a down payment on a house, a new car, or even paying off debts, all because you spotted a rare coin that others overlooked. This is why coin collecting isn't just a hobby, it's a treasure hunt. Every coin tells a story, and sometimes that story comes with a reward far greater than its face value. So, the next time you get a Maya Angelou quarter in your change, don't just spend it, study it. Look for errors, check its condition, and who knows? You might just be holding one of the rarest quarters ever struck in recent history. Top 2. We're diving deep into one of the most iconic coins in American history, the Washington quarter dollar from 1776 to 1976, better known as the bicentennial quarter. This is not just any quarter, it's a piece of American heritage. And believe me, if you have the right version of this coin, it could be worth a small fortune. So stay tuned until the very end, because I'll reveal just how much one of these quarters has sold for, an unbelievable amount that will shock you. Let's begin with the background. The bicentennial quarter was minted to celebrate the 200th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. This was a historic moment for the United States Mint because it was the first time in decades that the quarter received a new reverse design. Millions of these coins were struck between 1975 and 1976, but every single one of them bears the dual date 1776 to 1976 to mark the nation's bicentennial celebration. There are no quarters dated 1975, only these dual-dated bicentennial issues. On the obverse, or front side, you'll still see the familiar profile of George Washington. But on the reverse, instead of the usual eagle, you'll find a special design chosen through a national competition. The winning design was created by Jack L. Ahr, and it features a colonial drummer with a torch surrounded by 13 stars, representing the original colonies. This design perfectly captures the revolutionary spirit of America's birth and remains one of the most beloved coin reverses in U.S. history. Now, here's where things get exciting. While the bicentennial quarter was minted in massive numbers at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, not all of them are ordinary. Some were struck in special collector versions at the San Francisco Mint, including silver-clad proofs. Others were produced in extremely high quality as part of collector sets. And as every coin enthusiast knows, rarity is not only about how many were made, but also about condition, special finishes, and minting errors. So, what makes a 1776 to 1976 quarter rare and valuable? First, condition is everything. A coin that has been kept in pristine, uncirculated state, especially one graded MS-67 or higher by professional grading services, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars on its own. Proof versions, especially those with deep cameo contrast, can also fetch high prices among collectors, but here's the part that truly sets some of these quarters apart: minting errors. Errors happen when something goes wrong during the production process, and they create coins that are instantly unique. Some bicentennial quarters were struck off-center, giving them a dramatic, eye-catching look. Others have double die errors, where parts of the design appear doubled, especially on the lettering or details of the drummer. There are even rare cases of these quarters being struck on the wrong planchet, meaning they were mistakenly struck on a coin blank intended for another denomination, like a nickel or a dime. These error coins are the holy grail for collectors, because each one is a one-of-a-kind piece. Imagine finding a bicentennial quarter in your change where the drummer's details look doubled, or the date looks distorted. Or maybe you find one where the coin is slightly off-center, giving it a unique misalignment. These coins, though technically mistakes, are far more valuable than their ordinary counterparts. Collectors prize them because they tell the story of imperfection in the minting process, a story that adds drama, rarity, and excitement to the world of coin collecting. Now let's talk about silver bicentennial quarters. While most of these coins were made from the usual copper-nickel clad material, a smaller number were struck in 40% silver and sold to collectors in special sets. These silver quarters are already more valuable due to their metal content, but when found in pristine proof condition, they can reach much higher prices. Combine silver content, a flawless strike, and a special error, and suddenly you're looking at a coin that collectors will pay huge sums to own. This is why the 1776 to 1976 Washington quarter dollar has captured the imagination of coin lovers for decades. It's not just about face value, it's about history, artistry, rarity, and the thrill of the hunt. For some collectors, this quarter is a nostalgic reminder of America's bicentennial celebration, while for others, it's an opportunity to uncover a hidden gem worth an incredible amount of money. So, the big question remains, just how much can one of these bicentennial quarters really be worth? Well, while most are still worth only face value, some rare examples in exceptional condition or with dramatic minting errors have sold at astonishing prices. In fact, one of the most valuable bicentennial quarters ever recorded reached the jaw-dropping sum of $83,000. That's right, $83,000 for a single Washington quarter dollar dated 1776 to 1976. So the next time you come across one of these coins in your collection or even in your pocket change, don't dismiss it as just another quarter. Take a closer look. Check its condition, see if it might be silver, and examine it carefully for any unusual errors. You could be holding one of the most valuable modern quarters in American history. Top 3. We're traveling back to the year 1974 to explore one of the most fascinating pieces of American coinage, the Washington quarter dollar. This seemingly ordinary coin can, under the right circumstances, be worth an extraordinary amount of money. And by the end of this video, you'll hear about just how high its value can go, an amount that will surprise even seasoned collectors. Let's start with the background. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American currency since 1932, when it was introduced to honor the bicentennial of George Washington's birth. By 1974, the design had already been circulating for more than 40 years, making it one of the most familiar coins in American pockets. At that time, the country was going through a period of change, economic challenges, political shifts, and cultural transformation. Coins like the 1974 quarter became a part of everyday life, passing through countless hands, buying groceries, gas, and daily essentials. But today, some of these coins have risen far beyond their 25-cent face value. On the obverse, or the front of the coin, you'll see the iconic portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. It's a design so timeless that it remained largely unchanged for decades, making it one of the most enduring coin portraits in U.S. history. On the reverse, you'll find the classic image of a bald eagle with outstretched wings clutching a bundle of arrows, symbolizing both America's strength and its readiness to defend freedom. Below the eagle rests an olive branch, a symbol of peace. The imagery captures America's balance of strength and peace, a message carried in the hands of millions through these small silver-colored discs. Now, let's dive into why the 1974 Washington quarter is so interesting to collectors. First, although it was minted in large numbers at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, coins from this year can hold significant value depending on condition and rarity. A regular circulated 1974 quarter may only be worth face value, but once you move into uncirculated examples, the story changes. Coins that have been preserved perfectly, without scratches, wear, or tarnish, are extremely desirable to collectors. When graded MS67 or higher by professional grading services, their value jumps dramatically, but the real treasures lie in the world of minting errors. Error coins are accidental creations of the mint, but for collectors, they are goldmines. In 1974, a number of unusual errors have been reported on Washington quarters. Some coins were struck slightly off-center, resulting in a lopsided design. Others showed double die errors, where the lettering or details of Washington's portrait appeared doubled under magnification. There are also known examples where the quarter was struck on the wrong planchet, meaning it was mistakenly stamped onto a blank intended for another denomination, such as a nickel or even a foreign coin. These rare mistakes produce coins that are one of a kind and can fetch enormous prices at auction. Another fascinating detail is the existence of proof coins from 1974. Proofs are specially made coins produced using polished dies and planchets, giving them a mirror-like finish and extraordinary detail. While most proof coins were carefully preserved in sets sold to collectors, some may have entered circulation by accident. If you happen to come across a 1974 proof quarter in pristine condition, you've got something much rarer than a standard issue, collectors are drawn to the 1974 Washington quarter not only for its potential rarity but also for its place in history. This was one of the last years before the bicentennial redesign of 1976, which means the 1974 issue represents the end of an era for the traditional Washington Eagle reverse design. For some, this adds to its appeal as a transitional piece leading into one of the most celebrated moments in U.S. coinage history. Now, let's talk about value. While the majority of 1974 quarters may not be worth more than face value, the rarest examples, those with high grades, unusual errors, or unique features, are capable of reaching astonishing prices. Imagine finding a coin that millions once used every day for small purchases, only to discover it's a hidden treasure. That's the thrill of coin collecting, the possibility that an everyday object can turn out to be worth a fortune. So here's the big reveal: just how much could a 1974 Washington quarter be worth today in its rarest and most desirable form? The answer is an incredible $81,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $81,000 for a single quarter dollar dated 1974. Think about that for a moment. A coin that most people wouldn't look at twice could, under the right conditions, be worth enough to buy a car, pay for college tuition, or even make a serious down payment on a house. That's the magic of numismatics, the world where history, artistry, and rarity combine to create something truly extraordinary. So the next time you come across a 1974 quarter, don't just toss it aside. Examine it carefully. Look for signs of errors, check its condition, and consider getting it graded if it appears flawless. You never know, you might just be holding a coin that is far more valuable than anyone around you realizes. Top 4. We're diving into a coin that many people might overlook because it seems so ordinary, the Washington quarter dollar from the year 1981. You may have seen or even owned one of these quarters, but what if I told you that some rare examples of the 1981 Washington quarter can be worth an incredible amount of money? That's right, and by the end of this video, I'll reveal just how high the value can go. It will definitely surprise you. Let's begin with a little background. The Washington quarter has been a key part of American coinage since 1932, when it was first minted to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. By 1981, the design had already been in circulation for nearly 50 years, making it a familiar sight in the hands of millions of Americans. This era of coinage reflects a time before the big redesigns of the bicentennial issues in 1976 and long before the state quarters program launched in 1999. In other words, the 1981 quarter belongs to a transitional period in U.S. coin history, steady, reliable, and very much a workhorse coin of everyday commerce. On the obverse side, or the front, the 1981 Washington quarter features the timeless portrait of George Washington sculpted by John Flanagan. Washington's profile faces left, with the word Liberty inscribed above, the date, 1981, below, and the motto, In God We Trust, positioned to the left. It's a design rooted in tradition and one that has stood the test of time. On the reverse, the coin displays the bold image of an American bald eagle, wings spread wide, clutching a bundle of arrows while resting above an olive branch. This design represents both strength and peace, America's readiness to defend its freedoms but also its hope for harmony. Above the eagle appear the words United States of America and E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. Beneath it is the denomination, quarter dollar. Though simple, the design carries deep symbolism that connects directly to America's identity. Now, while millions of Washington quarters were minted in 1981 at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, and proof coins struck in San Francisco, the real interest for collectors comes from rarity, condition, and minting errors. Most 1981 quarters you'll find in circulation are only worth their face value, 25 cents, but certain versions can fetch hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars. Let's talk about condition first. In coin collecting, condition is everything. A 1981 quarter that has been heavily circulated, showing scratches and wear, won't bring much more than face value. But if you have an uncirculated example, one that has been preserved in mint condition without ever entering circulation, it could be worth significantly more. Professional grading services evaluate coins on a 70-point scale, with the highest grades, like MS-67 or MS-68, reserved for coins of extraordinary quality. A 1981 quarter in these high grades can already command a premium from collectors. Then we move into the fascinating world of errors and varieties. This is where the true treasures are found. Error coins are the result of mistakes during the minting process, and each error tells its own unique story. Some 1981 quarters were struck slightly off-center, giving them an unusual appearance where part of the design is missing. Others have double die errors, where the lettering or details of Washington's profile appear doubled, most noticeably on words like "Liberty" or "In God We Trust." These errors can be subtle or dramatic, but either way, they attract strong collector interest. Another category is planchet errors, where the coin was struck on the wrong blank. Imagine a quarter mistakenly struck on a dime planchet. It would be smaller and lighter than a normal quarter, and instantly recognizable as a rare mint error. These kinds of mistakes are extremely rare, but when they surface, collectors are willing to pay enormous sums to add them to their collections. Proof coins from 1981 also deserve attention. These were minted in San Francisco with special polished dies to create a mirror-like finish and sharp details. While many proof sets have been preserved, finding a flawless proof quarter with deep cameo contrast can still bring impressive value. And if you happen to find a proof coin with an error, such as a missing mint mark or unusual strike, its rarity increases exponentially. Collectors are drawn to the 1981 Washington quarter not only for its potential financial value but also because it represents a piece of everyday history. Think about it, these coins were used during the early 1980s, a period of economic challenges, political shifts, and cultural change in the United States. Holding a 1981 quarter is like holding a piece of that era's daily life, and for some collectors, that connection to history is priceless. Now comes the part you've been waiting for, the big reveal. While most 1981 quarters are common, certain rare examples with extraordinary errors or near-perfect grades have reached astonishing prices in auctions and private sales. So, how much could the most valuable 1981 Washington quarter dollar be worth today? The answer is an incredible $79,000. That's right, $79,000 for a single Washington quarter from 1981. Just imagine that for a moment. A coin that countless people have spent on small purchases like a cup of coffee, a bus ride, or a newspaper could, in its rarest form, be worth enough to change your life. That is the thrill of coin collecting, the idea that something so small, so ordinary, can turn out to be a hidden treasure. So, the next time you come across a 1981 quarter, don't overlook it. Check its condition carefully, look for signs of errors, and if it seems special, consider having it professionally graded. You never know, you could be holding one of the most valuable quarters in modern American history. Top 5. We're exploring the United States of America Washington quarter dollar from the year 1998. At first glance, it might seem like just another modern quarter, but don't be fooled, this coin hides secrets that can make it worth an extraordinary amount of money. Stay tuned until the very end, because I'll reveal just how valuable some of these 1998 quarters can be. You won't believe the final number. Let's start with the background. The Washington quarter has been part of American coinage since 1932, when it was first struck to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. By 1998, this design had been in circulation for over 6 decades, becoming one of the most recognized coins in the United States. But here's something fascinating. The 1998 quarter represents the very last year of the traditional eagle reverse before the U.S. Mint launched the famous state quarters program in 1999. That makes the 1998 Washington quarter a transitional coin, the closing chapter of an era before one of the most popular coin series in American history. On the obverse side of the coin, we see the iconic portrait of George Washington created by sculptor John Flanagan. The words "Liberty" appear boldly above. "In God We Trust" is inscribed to the left, and the year, 1998, rests at the bottom. Simple, traditional, and deeply symbolic, this design had become part of daily American life by the late 1990s. On the reverse side, we see the majestic bald eagle perched proudly on a bundle of arrows, with olive branches beneath, symbols of America's strength and its pursuit of peace. The inscriptions, "United States of America, E Pluribus Unum," and "Quarter Dollar," complete the classic design. For collectors, this eagle reverse is more than just a picture, it's the end of a long-running design series that lasted from 1932 until 1998, giving it special historical importance. Now, you might be wondering, if millions of these coins were produced in 1998, what could possibly make one of them worth big money? The answer lies in three powerful factors: condition, minting errors, and rarity. First, let's talk about condition. Most 1998 quarters you find in your change have been circulated heavily, showing scratches, wear, and fading. Those are typically worth only their face value. But when you find an uncirculated example, a coin that was never used in everyday transactions, it becomes far more valuable. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC rate coins on a 70-point scale, and quarters that achieve grades of MS67 or MS68 are considered exceptionally rare. These high-grade coins attract serious collectors willing to pay high premiums. Next, let's look at minting errors, which are the real stars when it comes to boosting value. Errors occur when something goes wrong during the minting process, and in 1998, there were several fascinating mistakes. Some quarters were struck slightly off-center, causing parts of the design to appear misaligned. Others featured double die errors, where inscriptions or design elements appeared doubled under magnification. For example, words like "Liberty" or "In God We Trust" may show clear doubling, an error that collectors absolutely love. Even more exciting are planchet errors. Imagine a 1998 quarter struck on a blank intended for another coin, like a nickel or even a foreign coin planchet. These rare mistakes result in coins that are instantly unique and often sell for thousands at auction. There are also known instances of coins with clipped planchets, where a piece of the coin's edge is missing, adding to their rarity. Proof coins from 1998 also add to the story. Produced at the San Francisco Mint, proof quarters are struck with specially polished dies, creating a mirror-like finish and razor-sharp details. These coins were sold in proof sets and usually stayed with collectors. But a flawless proof, especially one with cameo or deep cameo contrast, can be worth much more than its face value. And, as always, if a proof coin has a minting error, its rarity, and its value, skyrockets. For collectors, the 1998 Washington quarter carries an extra layer of appeal because it represents a turning point. Just 1 year later, in 1999, the state quarters program began, changing American coin collecting forever. That means the 1998 issue is not just another coin, it's the end of an era. For many collectors, this makes it a must-have piece for any serious Washington quarter collection. So, what does all this mean for value? While most 1998 quarters are common and worth just 25 cents, the rarest examples, those in extraordinary condition, with dramatic minting errors, or struck on the wrong planchet, can reach astonishing amounts. The market for error coins has grown rapidly in recent years, as collectors are willing to pay record prices for unique pieces. Now comes the big moment you've been waiting for. Just how much could one of these rare 1998 Washington quarter dollars be worth? The answer is an incredible $75,000. That's right, $75,000 for a single quarter dated 1998. Imagine that for a moment. A coin most people would spend without a second thought could, in the right circumstances, be worth enough to buy a new car, pay off debt, or even serve as a down payment on a home. This is why coin collecting is so thrilling, because hidden treasures are out there, waiting to be discovered by someone with a sharp eye and a little bit of knowledge. So, the next time you come across a 1998 Washington quarter, don't ignore it. Examine it carefully. Look for doubling in the lettering, check if it might be off-center, inspect its condition, and see if it could be uncirculated. Who knows? You could be holding a coin that isn't just worth pocket change, but a life-changing fortune. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the story and hidden value of the 1998 Washington quarter, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell so you never miss out on our future explorations into the world of rare and valuable coins. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting, and may your next coin find be the treasure that changes everything.